Join us as we dive into the world of superhero movies and put them to the test against their comic book counterparts. Can we spot the differences and similarities? Let's find out.
Superhero movies have taken the world by storm, dominating box offices and captivating audiences worldwide. But as fans, we can't help but wonder, do these cinematic adaptations truly do justice to the iconic characters and storylines we love from the comics? I think no.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Original Superman. One of the most notable disparities between the two mediums lies in the characterization of beloved heroes. Take, for instance, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which we will be focusing on now. Their version of Captain America. While Chris Evans' portrayal is undoubtedly memorable, it's a far cry from the more rugged, brooding Steve Rogers we see in the comic books. Then there's the DC Extended Universe take on Wonder Woman, which, although impressive, is in its own rights, it's okay, pales in comparison to the rich, complex history of mythology surrounding Diana Princess in the source material. Yes, we know that movies have a limited time to tell a story, while comic books have had decades. But we are comic book fans, and we demand a lot more from our comic book movies. Sometimes maybe too much. Toxic fan groups.
These creative liberties in movies often lead to exciting new interpretations, but they can also be jarring for diehard fans. The X-Men franchise, for example, has been notoriously inconsistent in its adaptation of key characters and plot points. Take the cinematic renditions of Cyclops and Jean Grey. While the films attempt to capture the essence of their comic book counterparts, they ultimately fall short in terms of character development and relationships. I'm not sure any of us have ever felt how in love the two were in the movies as compared to the comics, or even better, how much tragedy always seemed to follow them. In the comics, Cyclops' heart seemed to be stomped to dust multiple times. In the movies, well, they just killed him off.
That's an easy thing. So far in the X-Men world, what do you think is the biggest difference in comparison to the comic books? Which character were you most disappointed with?
Cyclops.
Cyclops?
Yeah.
I say Apocalypse. Apocalypse was hugely disappointing.
Oh, that whole movie was disappointing.
Apocalypse as a whole.
Psylocke,
a good one. Apocalypse as a whole, the whole entire Four Horsemen story could have been done so much better than it was done.
I would say outside of the first X-Men movie and Days of Future Past, the rest of them weren't very good.
Okay, and you're talking some of the greatest comic book source material ever put on paper.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
One of the biggest differences are the timelines and the continuity of comic book storylines, which are often drastically altered or condensed for the sake of cinematic convenience. The Spider-Man franchise, for instance, has undergone multiple reboots, each with its own unique take on the web-slinger's origin story. While these changes can be intriguing, they also lend to a sense of disconnect between the source material and its big-screen adaptations. There's not enough Spider-Man. We won't even talk about the Batman reboots, and reboots are reboots, and reboots are reboots are reboots. Batman should be so much better in movies than he actually is. The original Batman, fantastic. Now,
Let's take a close look at some specific examples. The Marvel Comics universe is home to some of the most iconic storylines in comic book history, including the Avengers' infamous Disassembled arc and the epic Civil War saga. Meanwhile, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has adapted these storylines in its own way, often blending elements from multiple sources to create something fresh and exciting. Take, for instance, the Russo brothers' Avengers Endgame, which draws inspiration from various Marvel comic events, including the Secret Wars storyline.
Good. Another notable example is the portrayal of Thanos in the comics versus the MCU. In the comics, Thanos is a complex, multifaceted character with a rich history and motivations that span entire galaxies. The MCU version, while impressive in its own right, simplifies his character and reduces his motivations to more simplistic, environmental-driven crusade. No death in the movies.
Yep.
In the comics, if you haven't read, death plays a very important part in why Thanos does what he does.
She's a major character.
Major. He's in love with her. He's trying to impress her. That's part of the snap.
Yeah.
We don't see that in the movies.
One of the most striking differences between comic book characters and their cinematic counterparts, however, lies in their tone and atmosphere. The Deadpool comics, for instance, are notorious for their dark humor and graphic violence, while the films, although irreverent and humorous, tone down the gore and edginess to appeal to a wider audience. Although the last movie was definitely closer to the tone of the Deadpool comics. especially the way Johnny Storm was skinned alive.
Oh, flame on that is. Oof, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the difference between superhero movies and their comic book counterparts serves as a testament to the versatility and adaptability of these beloved characters. While creative liberties can sometimes be jarring, they also pave the way for new, innovative interpretations that expand our understanding of these iconic heroes. As fans, it's up to us to appreciate these differences and embrace the unique qualities each medium brings to the table. What's your least favorite of the adaptations? Before we end.
Oh my God. I gotta say maybe Batman v Superman.
Okay.
I think that could have been done a lot better.
All right. So basically the first thing of the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, am a huge, if you've been watching the show, you know that I'm a huge Flash fan. And the Flash movie was really disappointing.
That was pretty disappointing.
I don't know which guy was responsible for the CG effects, but he phoned it in for that. And for me, I liked the show. I thought the show was a really good interpretation of how Barry Allen would have interacted with Iris and with the world around him, while the movie seemed like just thrown together for some reason. It was very disappointing.
Yeah, you're right about that one too.
That one really disappointed. And that was later on in the DCU. It should have been so much better. After a really good Blue Beetle movie, then we got a really crappy Flash movie.
Suicide Squad, the first movie. The first Suicide Squad movie was pretty bad too.
Yeah. Second one wasn't bad.
No, the second one was great.
So,
yeah.
James Gunn.
Right. In conclusion, the world of superhero movies and comics is a complex, multifaceted landscape, full of similarities and differences. While these adaptations can sometimes stray from their source material, they also offer a fresh, exciting perspective on the characters and storylines we love.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into a world of superhero movies and comics. If you're a fan of these iconic characters, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below and check out our other videos on the evolution of Spider-Man in the MCU. If you like what you really saw, join our channel as a member and unlock exclusive perks, behind-the-scenes content, members-only live chats. That's right, you could chat with me and Brian and Cassidy live, early access to videos, and much, much more. There are many different levels you can join at. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, hit the membership button to see what's available. Whether you're into rare issues, origin stories, or comic haul unboxings, we've got something for every collector. Become a Collectors Confessions member today, and let's geek out together. Hit the join button now. And thanks for watching. Love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
We'll see you next time at the movies, in the comic shop, comic book convention. We'll see you soon.
Are we in a comic book movie?
I think maybe we are in a comic book movie. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think we're in a comic book movie.